Good morning, everybody, and welcome to What's Real in Real Estate. I am Elie Morris with Signature Real Estate Group, here to talk to you about what's really happening in the real estate market today. Not what you get in the news. This is the real deal. And today I'm with Mark Martinez as our guest, and I'm looking forward to talking to Mark in a minute. First, I'm going to go through the numbers, and they're getting better. We have more than a month's supply of homes, and I'll tell you, as silly as it sounds, that is fantastic. We have 30, as of this morning, 3,358 single-family residents available without contracts, and in the last 30 days, we've sold a little over 3,000. So we're getting there. It's still, the market is still crazy. If you're out there making offers, please don't give up. Get frustrated, because I don't blame you. It's a frustrating time right now, but don't give up. Keep putting the offers in. Be as aggressive as you can, and you will get a home sooner or later. We still have 628 condos and townhomes, and we're up to 54 manufactured homes. So we're going in the right direction. I don't have a lot of real estate news today. I do have a little bit of Las Vegas news, and I'm excited about the Sphere. The Sphere over by behind the Sands, behind the Venetian, is putting up their screen around the outside. For those of you that aren't aware, this is a one of a kind. It's the first one being built in the world, here in Las Vegas, of course. We do everything first. This is a magnificent structure, and all the shows that they're going to be putting on, they'll be broadcasting and airing on the screen on the outside of the building. It's unbelievable, similar to what's happening over at Allegiant Stadium. But let's get to Mark. Mark, glad to have you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Great being here.
So, Mark, you've been in the real mortgage business for a while. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and where you're from? And
Of course. So, obviously, my name is Mark Martinez. I'm currently a loan officer with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. I've been there for just over 2 years. Really, my first company as a standalone loan officer. So I've been in the business since 2009. The majority of that time was spent on the operations end. So from processing, underwriting, doc drawing, all of that great stuff, making sure that all of your files are getting done, I was the man behind the scenes.
That's really huge. People don't realize how huge it is to have someone like you that has covered every aspect of the business.
It really is, because I feel that when I meet with my clients now, I can really give them that level of service, and I can know that, hey, your loans are going to get done.
Yep.
Because I've been there, I've seen all those files come through. I know what it takes to make sure it happens.
Right. Good.
Yeah, so, now I'm on my own. I have a great company behind me, of course, Fairway Independent. So it feels good. It feels good to be out here on my own, doing my own thing, making new relationships, kind of meeting all of those people that I knew from the back, and then getting now on the front and getting face to face.
How long have you been in Las Vegas?
I've been in Las Vegas for 13 years.
I know you're from L.A., right?
Originally from LA, yes.
I know you kind of like the Dodgers a little bit, right?
Just a little bit. I kind of travel all over the place for them, so maybe it's a little bit more than a little bit.
I know that. It was a tough loss this year, because I really thought they were going to go all the way.
It was definitely a tough loss, but, I think at the end of the day, it came down to heart, and the Braves had a lot of heart.
Yeah, it's been a long time for them, and I was rooting. Once they got there, I was of course rooting for the Dodgers also, but once the Braves got to it, I was rooting for them.
Well, I think that's everybody except for the people who live in Texas.
Yeah. I agree with you. So you've been in Vegas 13 years, from L.A. How do you like it out here?
I love it out here. Vegas is now home.
Isn't it great?
I love everything about it. There's so much to be able to do. People think of Vegas and they think Strip or downtown Fremont. Right. It's so much more than that. We have outdoor, indoor, everything that you can possibly think of. Like, if you're a nature buff, Vegas is a place for you too.
Most people don't realize that.
No.
That don't live here. Even those that visit here don't realize it.
Well, one of the big things that I've been noticing lately, because we have that big influx of people moving here, especially from California, they're like, oh, I'm going to miss the mountains. I'm going to miss the water. Well, we have all of it here. It may kind of be man-made, but we have it.
Yeah. Well, Mount Charleston is, when I first got here, coming from Detroit, I had never lived anywhere other than Detroit. And to be frank, the first winter, I got a little lonesome. Didn't know many people out here. I hadn't had my license yet, so I wasn't really working. And someone said, go check out Mount Charleston. You'll feel at home. I thought, what's Mount Charleston? And we got up there, and man, I had snow up to my waist. I'm throwing snowballs. I had the time of my life, and then left there and came back down to 68-degree weather.
Oh yeah, it's amazing because you can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the summer, take a drive up there, and it's what 20-degree drop.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so you like beat the heat.
No, it's fantastic. It really is fantastic. How is mortgage industry right now? Real estate is crazy, so of course you're crazy too. But what's going on in the mortgage end of the business?
I think the biggest thing is just staying on top of the clients, working with the real estate partners, just to make sure that everybody stays motivated. Like you mentioned early on, frustration is going to be a key. Everybody's going to get frustrated. I have quite a few borrowers who are pre-approved who haven't found a house. Some of them are going on 6-7 months, but it's just the nature of the market, and you just have to keep them motivated. And you do that by just keeping them informed, letting them know where things are, showing them podcasts like yours where they hear the numbers. That's what people want to know, and it's our job as lenders and realtors to educate our clients.
It seems like we're not seeing as many offers that are we have to go guarantee 15, 20, 30,000 over. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes, I've been seeing that lower a lot.
Yeah.
So, which is good, which means we're in a trend to start to settle down a little bit.
Right. Now, Fairway is a sponsor of, I'll be frank with you, before I met you, I didn't know who Fairway was. And now I see you guys all over the place. It's like when you buy a car,
Yes. And like when you buy a home, I always tell my clients when they come and buy a home and we're doing the pre-approval, I'm like, you are now going to get hundreds of questions because every conversation you hear is going to be about home buying.
Right.
It just happens. I think it's just the nature of the beast.
But I was real impressed when I saw you give out the award to Brad at the UNLV game, because you're a sponsor of UNLV, aren't you?
Yes. So Fairway is a sponsor of UNLV, and we partnered with them because they like to honor veterans, our heroes that have served the country. Fairway also has a non-for-profit called American Warrior Initiative. Their big focus is getting service animals into the homes of veterans. So it's a big thing, part of why I've ventured into other aspects of the veteran community. I'm not a veteran myself. I have family that was, but I'm a big patriot. And every Friday you'll see me wearing red for Red Fridays.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's how you and I met, was through VA Rep,
Yes.
which is a veteran organization, Veteran Association of Real Estate Professionals. And I was very impressed with your compassion, your passion for the veterans. And then I learned that how Fairway, I see why you're over there.
Yeah, for sure, because that is one of my big passions. When I got into the business, especially when I started to venture out and be a standalone loan officer, I really wanted to focus in on a couple of communities. I didn't want to be that go-to guy for every mortgage transaction you need. I wanted to focus in on stuff that I understood and had a lot of respect for. So that's what I decided to do.
What about, so people don't realize what a military community we have here.
Huge one.
Huge, yeah. Again, I had no idea. I used to visit here all the time. Didn't know there were mountains, and didn't know it was such a big retirement community. I think we have over 250,000 retirees here.
Something like that, yes.
And I believe there's like 40-something thousand at Creek, at Nellis, another, 10 or 12,000 at Creek. I mean, this is over 300,000 active and retired members of the military.
Yep. It's a big veteran community. People don't really know that. It's a big military community. I think when you start to get involved in it, you really notice it. The first time I participated in just the Veterans Day Parade down in downtown, I realized how big it was and how much more I wanted to get involved.
Yeah, no, it is special. Like you, I did not serve, and this was part of what motivated me to start serving our veterans locally. And VA Rep was my first entree into the veteran community. Let's talk about VA Rep a little bit. It's a great organization. You and I just got back from San Diego and learned a lot more about it. But what is it that you like most about what VA Rep does for the community?
You kind of touched on it there, community. And I think that's one of the big aspects about VA Rep is that we're in the community. We're involved with the community. We want to be present with the veteran community. There's so much to offer not only in the real estate market or that kind of benefit, but just giving them education,
Right.
period, and letting them know that there's an outlet. A lot of times, veterans and military professionals don't understand that there's outlets or places for them to seek help.
Right. Mark is our membership director, one of our members of our board of directors, and again very passionate and contributing a lot to the cause. I see a lot, I'm sure you do too, I see a listing, and they're offering FHA financing, but they're not offering VA financing. And I'll call the agent, why? Well, it's too expensive. There's a lot of, for lack of a better word, ignorance in the real estate community when it comes to the veterans, isn't there?
Definitely. I think it becomes, people get really afraid when you talk about VA because of that one document that they signed called the VA escape clause. Everybody gets truly, truly afraid of it, but they don't necessarily understand what that document is or what the security of a VA loan is. I mean, I know other loan officers who don't really understand the VA loan. And it's just, like you said, for lack of better word, ignorance. It's just that they haven't taken the time to learn it. Most people automatically think FHA conventional,
Right.
but now I think it's a great thing because if you're a loan officer and you're going through your 1003, your loan application, we now have that question on there that asks, have you ever served? So that should spark in people's head, hey, this can potentially be a veteran loan.
Yeah. Was there a particular organization that was behind getting that put on the?
Oh, yeah, the best organization around, VA Rep.
Doggone right, man. We got behind that, and that's why it's on there now.
Yes. And that's one of the other things that I really love is that we're out there. We're fighting for things to be changed within the real estate community so that it makes a bigger impact on our veteran community.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, educating our loan officers, educating our realtors out there. Talk a little bit about the class the 8-hour class that we teach.
So the 8-hour class that we teach is the MVHC, Military and Veteran Housing Certification.
Right.
Sorry, I always get a little
a tough
tongue
one.
twister on that one. So it's an 8-hour course. It really just breaks down the VA loan process from writing a contract to understanding appraisals, to understanding things on the 1003, just understanding everything. We break down the myths related to a VA loan. One of the great things that I'm really excited about in 2022 is that I'm going to be teaching that course, probably alongside this guy right here. So
Yes.
it's some
Yeah.
exciting things to come.
I'm excited about that, Mark. I really am, because I'm looking forward to doing that with you, and then we're going to start doing it on a more consistent basis.
Definitely.
And that's going to be real important for everybody in our real estate community. Now, one thing that everybody loves hearing about are rates. It seems like rates have gone up a little bit. Are they up and down, or are they just going, what's going on with?
They're kind of up and down. So yesterday we did get, as lenders, we follow the markets. We did get an alert to lock. However, I think job reports did a little bit better than we were expecting. So rates are still kind of staying the same. We have had a tiny bit of a dip, but nothing to write home about because it's not like they were before. We're definitely forecasted to see an increase coming in 2022.
But a small increase from that.
Small,
Yeah.
nothing substantial. I mean, we're not going to get to the 8s or 9s.
Where are we seeing VA loans right now?
Interest rates in VA loans,
Yeah.
those are obviously going to be the lowest. And I think because of the fact that people want to give back to the veteran community. So, I mean, and there's a lot of great additional programs besides just your regular VA loan that can assist your VA borrowers.
Talk about that a little bit.
So there is a program for disabled veterans, which in all actuality, a lot of our veterans are,
Yes.
or have some sort of disability.
Mark, what constitutes a disability? What I'm getting at is there's different levels at 10%, 50, correct?
Correct.
Does it matter what percentage you have to be at to use this program?
So to use this program, you do have to be 100%
Okay.
disabled.
Okay.
But what it does, and especially really good in this market, is it gives that disabled veteran, 100% disabled, $5,000 free money towards any portion of the loan. So it can be if seller doesn't want to pay closing costs, we can use that towards closing costs. If we have to negotiate above contract price, we can use that.
Wow, that's huge.
Yes.
Because that's been a big issue with me with veterans. Many of them have the money for closing costs. They just don't have the extra money.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
So yeah, it has. And I've been able to save a few deals because of it.
I'll bet. Any other programs that are unique out
Well,
there?
I think one of the ones that a lot of people know is through Home as Possible is the Home for Heroes. One of the great things about that program is it gives below market rate. And if you want, you can actually get an additional $7,500 towards closing. But if you just want the low market rate, say you have all of the money, maybe the lender, rates are a little bit higher or something, you can use that program. And I think their rate right now is like 2.875.
Isn't that something? Now, I got to tell you, I used to pride myself in staying on top of everything that's going on both the real estate side and the lending side. But you had told me about this $7,500. I never heard of it. And this is why you want to work with someone like Mark, who really knows everything about the VA loan process. Yeah, I didn't know about that until you told me.
Yeah, and what I think it is just a matter of sometimes we like to stay in our lane. So it's a good thing for you guys to know as realtors, but it's also part of our job as loan officers to educate our realtors and say, hey, these are programs that we have out there available for you guys.
Right.
Let me know if you have anybody who you think needs it.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And what things, it used to be maybe 15, 16, even 20 years ago, when somebody used a VA loan, it did cost the seller a little more money. But today, all they pay is the pest inspection and the escrow fee, correct?
Correct. And I mean, there's ways to work around it. So the veteran can pay 1% of their closing costs. Now, how that 1% is broken down just depends. So, like as a lender, I don't charge an origination so that during that VA loan process, we can use up that 1% to pay for what would typically be seller paid closing costs. But this time they're not because we're covering it for them.
Okay. So if rates go up, let's say what are the ballpark rates right now for a FHA loan?
Probably like 3.5 ballpark.
If they go to 3.75, what does that impact on a loan?
Well, that can impact a lot. I mean, 0.25% can impact. I mean, it's probably, I would say in the ballpark, depending on the loan amount, probably anywhere between $40 and $60 at most. But I mean, that could take you out of qualifying.
Right. Exactly. So when there are a lot of people, not a lot, but I talked to a lot of people that today are telling me, I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to hesitate. I'm going to wait because I'm not sure where rates are going to go. And I'll repeat to them, hey, everything we hear, they're going to go up, not down. And that is a big difference.
Definitely. And I think the big thing is to kind of look back over the year, look back even further going into the COVID break and seeing how rates have been moving. And then take a look at like right after we came out of the mortgage crisis and take a look at how rates were then and what projected them. There's really no indication right now on how rates are going to move because everything's dependent upon that big C word that we all want to avoid.
No, you're right. And we did, when we were in San Diego, we were able to listen to one of the chief economists from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and talked about they don't see any type of crash or dip, even a dip coming. I guess the great thing they hope for is that appreciation slows down.
Yeah, and I think that's really what the trend is just a slowdown in appreciation. Obviously, I think we're here in Vegas, we're appreciating at about 20% every year. We know that's not sustainable. So I think it's going to be a slowdown, kind of just not a dip, but just a steady flat line, for lack of better terminology. And with that happening, rates are going to start to increase. Yeah.
And when I bought my first home, I'm going to age myself. I know I look like I'm 26, but I'm really 66. And rates were 18 to 20% back in 1980, 81. And I was able to buy a home on a land contract at 11%. And Mark, I was out bragging about it at 11%.
Yeah.
And when I bought my first home here, I believe it was 2005, rates were around 7%. And it was, so when people think, oh my goodness, it's going to get to 4%, that's still fantastic.
Definitely is. I think the problem is that people think about what they've been seeing during COVID
Right.
and these last couple of years. People don't tend to look back and really study the history of how rates and the market works.
Right, right. Before I forget, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. If they have any questions or want to talk about mortgages, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So the best way to reach me is directly on my cell. That number is 702-278-8234. I'm not one of those 9 to 5 bankers, so you can find me Monday through Sunday. Just reach out. I'm here for you.
One thing I've found out that since I've got to know Mark is he's kind of weird in one respect that he answers his phone. He actually answers his phone when I call him. That is really a bugaboo with me in our business. Realtors, lenders, for some reason they think, oh, I've got voicemail, just let it go to voicemail. Pick up the phone. It just makes a huge difference.
Oh, such a big
And you do.
difference. I mean, it makes a big difference on both ends. And I think a lot of it just comes from where I've been in the mortgage industry and seeing a lot of people do certain things and learning, hey, I kind of want to do it a little different.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I can't thank you enough for coming out here, but before I let you go, I do want to take a few minutes. I like to talk to everybody who comes on about some of their favorite things of Las Vegas. So I like to start with restaurants. Do you have some favorite restaurants?
My favorite restaurant is Esther's Kitchen.
Esther, is that downtown?
Downtown, yeah, in the Arts District.
I've heard of it. I've never been there. What kind of food do they have there?
So it's rustic Italian cuisine. Their pastas are all handmade, and they use ingredients that are farm fresh.
Oh.
So, and like their drink menu, it's all very eclectic. The great thing about it, it's kind of like you go during the summer, you're going to have one menu. You go during the fall, you'll have another. And don't fall in love with a dish or with a drink because it probably won't be there the next time you go.
That's pretty cool. Have you been to Carson's Kitchen?
I have been to Carson's
They
Kitchen.
are similar. They
Very
change their
similar,
menu
yeah.
regularly. Yeah, that is really nice and unique. A lot of restaurants don't do that.
Exactly.
You got any favorite shows in town?
I'm kind of just like a music buff, so anything related to music, like I've done Beatles Love a couple of times. I've done Michael Jackson 1. I try to catch concerts whenever they're out here, even if they're smaller, like in downtown, because there's so much to do here. It's hard to catch it all.
Yeah, there really is. And that's one thing. When I first moved here, my wife and I would go to the Strip maybe once a month. Whatever, catch a show, play some games. It was like we were on vacation.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, I really don't go to the Strip much anymore unless I have friends in town. But out in the suburbs, there's some fantastic venues. And great music
definitely.
out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, 'cause there's so many great. They don't just call us the entertainment capital of the world because it sounds good. We are the entertainment capital of the world, and there's so many great entertainers that don't have a room, so they work out in the suburbs.
Yeah, and it's great because you get to do it like as a local in a smaller, intimate venue, and it's just enjoyable. I mean, we ended up being in San Diego for the VA Rep convention, but like a big country artist, Brett Young, was going to be at Red Rock at the pool. I mean, that's a pretty big artist at a local casino and a smaller venue, which is nice.
It's pretty cool. I live in Sun City, and there's a gentleman who lives behind me who's been in the entertainment business for, I'm going to guess, about 60 years, Bill Fain. And he has a show tonight. And I saw him yesterday morning, so today's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday in the evening. I hear music coming out because it's right behind me. Weather's beautiful now, with best weather of the year. And I hear the piano going and people singing and some drum. So when I saw him, I said, "Were you guys rehearsing for a show?" He goes, "Yeah." So they were at his house rehearsing for the show that is tonight. And that's not uncommon.
Yeah. No, and that's a nice thing. I mean, like in circles that I run with, like my trainer, personal trainer, actually like trains this musician that comes out and he performs like at certain venues. It's like country music. So it's kind of cool that it's so weird when you think Vegas is such a big community, but it's so small once you really start to think about it.
It really is. It really is a smooth. Everybody seems to know everybody, and it is an easy community to get through. We're all from somewhere else, and so we do need to mix and mingle and get to know each other.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's talk about Veterans Day. You said the veteran desk, which is coming up Thursday. Does Fairway participate in the parade, or?
We haven't participated yet, but I know there's talks of hopefully getting out there one day.
And there is a parade every year, isn't there?
Every year, yeah.
That's fantastic. I love it. How about outdoor activities? You got a favorite outdoor activity?
Probably, well, I'm a big Disneyland buff. So if you don't find me here in Vegas working on loans, you're probably going to find me at Disneyland.
That's great. That's great. That is a fun place. I think that this year is the 50th anniversary of Disney World.
Disney World, yeah.
And Disneyland, of course, was founded in the greatest year that ever happened, was 1955. Well, the great guys were born, like me. But that's cool. Well, listen, thank you again so much for coming on, Mark. Again, one more time, give everybody your number.
702-278-8234.
Again, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Please, we're still going through this COVID thing. Whether you want to wear a mask or not, be courteous of everybody. Whatever they're doing, let them do it, and just be nice to each other. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.